guys? Welcome back to another Sport Universe Reacts. So today what we're reacting to is the MVP race in the NFL, which is at this point really heating up going into week 13. So I know that I talk about how football isn't my strong suit with the sports that we cover, but when it comes to individual races and stuff, I understand and focus a lot more on that compared to just individual teams besides the Jets. So I feel like I have a good position to talk about this stuff. So currently it's basically between Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson. I'm going to go through each of the players and then give my opinion at the end. So let's start with, who should we start with? Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson, he's had one of those it seemed like the last couple of years people just forgot that Russell Wilson was actually like really good, and this season he's shown everyone that he's still that same player that led the Seahawks to a Super Bowl and led them to a lot of their successes. He's been outstanding this year. I think going into, was it last week? I could look at the stats, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Let's just look at the stats to be right. Yeah. Before the last two games, which were probably his worst games of the year, he only had one interception and a whole lot of touchdowns, but having one interception through, at that point, it was 11 weeks of football is insane. No, it was 10 weeks of football. Having one interception through 10 weeks of football is insane. I mean, that just shows how efficient he was, how smart he was handling the ball, and to have him as your quarterback with what he's able to do, how clutch he is. He's able to throw the ball. He's basically able to do everything, and that's what made him have such an outstanding year this season. I'm going to get into his individual stats. He has 24 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 2,937 yards, but no one really cares about that. And he's led the Seahawks to a 9-2 record. That's second in their division, but he's been outstanding this year. Now, let's compare that to Lamar Jackson. I don't want to give away my decision, so I'm going to try to be very blunt with everything I say. Blunt might not be the right word, but we'll go with it. So, Lamar Jackson started off his seat before the season started. People basically considered him running back that could pass a little bit. Like, no one actually saw him as an actual quarterback. They were just like, yeah, he's capable of he's capable of throwing the ball, but he's mainly a runner, and that's what made him so effective his rookie season. But teams are going to understand him, and it's going to prove like he's going to turn into like not a great quarterback. But this season has completely changed that. Not only has he led his team, the Ravens, to a 9-2 record, he's shown that he is such a good quarterback, passing the ball specifically. I mean, his running is great too. Let's see specifically. Running touchdowns this season, he has 1 + 1 + 2, 4, 5. He only has 5 running touchdowns. I don't know what I just did. Yeah, he only has 5 running touchdowns this year. Solid for a quarterback. He also has a lot of rushing yards. But he has 19 throwing touchdowns, whatever, and 2,400 yards. And if you just, I don't know how I should say this. Okay, I'm just going to kind of say Lamar Jackson should definitely be the MVP. Russell Wilson has had a great season, but Lamar Jackson has had an even better season. And he's put the NFL world on blast. Everyone that doubted him, he's shown them he's proved them so wrong this season. If you just look at some of these wins that the Ravens have had, like, they're probably the best team in football, even if their record 9-2, which is really good, doesn't show it compared to other teams. But if you look at some of their wins, week 1, 59-10 against the Dolphins. Okay, the Dolphins are bad. 37-20 against the Patriots. It's not like a blowout, but that's against the Patriots, a really good team. Cincinnati, another bad team, 49-13. But the Houston Texans, who are also a very good team, 41-7. Let's see. Last night, the Rams, 45-6. In all these games, it's because of Lamar Jackson. Each of these blowouts against big teams, each of these wins against the big teams is solely on Lamar Jackson's hands. He's such an influence to the Ravens and their offense, and an influence on the game. I mean, he's taken the Ravens up a notch. I mean, they traded Joe Flacco because of him. Was it traded or got rid of? Whatever. And comparatively, the last 2 weeks for Lamar Jackson have been some of his best games, while for Russell Wilson, they've been some of his worst, even though for like a regular quarterback is a really good game. But Russell Wilson has thrown 2 of his 3 interceptions this year in the past 2 games, and his QBR is much lower than it usually is for him. I want to see what QBR for... Oh, come on. How does this not have QBR? What? QBR. I just looked at this. So, if you look at the improvement Lamar Jackson made, if there was a most improved player for football award, like, he'd definitely get it. Last year, through 16 games, how is that possible? He only threw 6 touchdowns? Lamar Jackson only threw 6 touchdowns, compared to this year he's thrown 24 touchdowns. QBR is insanely different. Last year, 46.3. This year, 82.2. I mean, okay, I guess that's not really that important comparing his past 2 seasons. But it's such an improvement that it just shows that how good he's been this season. I guess that was a little bit of rambling I just did there, but ultimately, Lamar Jackson deserves MVP. I guess I'll just summarize my 3 key reasons. First off, he's led the Ravens to blowout wins against very good teams like the Texans and the Rams. Rams might not be very good, but he beat the Patriots 37-20. Second reason, what was I going to say? These past 2 weeks have been a very defining 2 weeks for the MVP race. While Russell Wilson played well, he didn't play up to his normal standards, and Lamar Jackson exceeded expectations these past 2 weeks. And the third reason, not as big of a reason, but Lamar Jackson took what everyone thought was just an average quarterback that could run and made himself into an elite quarterback. He put the whole NFL world on blast, which is hard to do when people are doubting you. And the progression from last year to this year is insane. And amazing that he's been able to do that. So basically what I'm trying to say, Lamar Jackson deserves MVP. But there's still, week 13. There's still 4 more games to be played. So maybe that'll change. Maybe we'll do another reacts for it. But other than that, that's it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Do all that stuff. That's it. See ya.